Welcome back, everyone, to Limeade 3.0. I'm your host, Solid Tony, and today we got MGS4 Guns of the Patriots runner sirShmuckle will be handling this today, and commentating it will be Sergeant Silent. And just wanted to remind everyone before we begin that all donations, bits, and subs will go towards UnderwaterSmoking to help him in his time of need. Yeah, so if you guys want to take it away, I'll give the mic open to you, Sergeant.
I appreciate it, but Schmuck, you should take the floor first.
I think I will. Hello. My name is sirShmuckle. I've been running MGS4 for about a month now, and I'm excited to be here with Sergeant Silent.
Has it really only been a month? Dang, you've come a long way. I'm really happy for you. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see this.
Thank you. We're going to start the timer when I push yes to the save.
And the reason we're loading this save is to skip a bunch of cutscenes.
Yeah. So, you gonna give me a countdown, or should I count down?
I'll do it.
Okay.
All right, let's get MGS4 started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Woohoo!
Good luck.
Thank you.
So as we said,
Oh, you go first.
yeah, right off the bat, there's like 2 minutes 35 seconds of cutscenes that we're skipping. We don't have to skip them, but it makes resets easier when you don't have to watch 2.5 minutes of cutscenes every reset. You could get right into the game, as you saw. Now, we timed this IGT, I believe. It's been a long time since I ran this. That's correct, right?
Yes, you're right.
So the thing about IGT basically is what you need to know is it's always ticking. Unless it explicitly says loading on screen, it is timing IGT. So we really need to be optimal on just about everything we can to save as much time as possible. So now that we're through the intro gameplay, you wanted to say something.
Right. I was pretty much going to say what you were going to say with the IGT.
Like mine.
The loading.
There's not really a lot to talk about here, but we're gonna immediately move into red zone. On this particular difficulty that we're playing, which is liquid easy at new game plus to boot, though the new game plus doesn't really matter yet. This is a particularly challenging room for most people, especially new runners. But again, liquid easy, we're gonna take a relatively, I want to say, newer strat. She just shot him. Well then. So all that really matters on liquid easy in this room is that you trigger a caution or an alert. On LE, we don't really care which of those that is, because the worst that happens is we get staggered here. There are more difficult lines you could take, but this is the fastest line. And if you're used to watching speedruns of this, you might say, well, wait, aren't they supposed to go through the alley and shoot a barrel? Not on easy. On easy, we're going to take the most direct line possible, because LE is entirely about movement. Like, every enemy is going to go down in one hit, except for bosses. So for the most part, it's how do we get from A to B in the fastest way possible. And there's actually a couple lines that are straight unique to this. So this is New Game Plus, which means that, well, we got all of our stuff there that you get in a new game. We actually have literally everything in the game that we've picked up in previous playthroughs. If you look at when we first loaded this file, it had a star and a number next to it. What was your particular number, Schmuckle? How many times did you play through on this file?
I believe 22 times.
22 times? That is completely understandable. I think my personal file is like star 16. I understand it entirely. Now,
10
there's
years
no
of progress.
the only quote-unquote benefit to that is more Drebin points, but this is New Game Plus. We're not going to be spending Drebin points unless we realize, oh no, we used all of our, I don't know, 99 grenade launcher rounds, because Liquid Easy also gives you so much ammo, so much health. Like, I'm not kidding when I say this is really just do good lines better. That is the game. So a lot of these rooms are put this big boss face camo on, which I would say is a pretty controversial topic in my time playing this game. I don't know what your opinion on big boss face camo is, but
I agree. It is controversial because, I mean, it does make an already pretty easy run even easier. But going
yeah,
fast is the name of the game.
it turns the game from 3 minutes or 3 minutes. Ooh, that'd be nice. From 2 hours of getting shot and staggered to 2 hours of listening to guys scream.
It's always worth it to hear their screams. It's always funny. Especially
I
the
like the
Invader
scream.
Sim sounding guy.
Screams are a pretty good visual or audio cue too, because you know you got someone if you hear them scream or freak out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're moving into ruins. With ruins, we got introduced to the M4 Custom. It's one of the weapons that we did not get given at the start of the game. Well, I guess we technically did, but the way this game works is there's scripted segments where they say, this is the weapon we want you to have because we gave it to you in the cutscene, so now you have it. So we have to account for things like that in our weapon menuing. You can only hold 5 at a time. So, and there's a cycle system. So we have to worry about where is it going to put this weapon in? How's it going to interact with the cycle? And we have to do that all while getting introduced to the one and only time we're ever going to see shuffling in this game. And that was it. That's it. We're done. It might have looked silly what we did there, but we actually moved very specifically to get up during a cutscene, then shuffle across a wall as quickly as possible, and then get out. Ruins is actually kind of easy to make a mistake in, get stuck in a cutscene or fall.
Oh yeah,
So that was
if you fall while you're shuffling, it's disastrous.
it's unfortunate if you have to crawl shimmy with your hands, but I've seen people fall all the way down, and that's like, oh no, I feel so sorry. But yeah, we're out. That was it. Congratulations, Snake can shimmy in this. There's a lot of stuff in this game Snake can do that you might see once. Like, the coolest thing that nobody knows about is if you end up in a situation where Schmuck gets hit, if he taps triangle as he's getting knocked down. Unfortunate stagger there, but that's pretty typical. There's a sniper in the building. If he gets hit and sent backwards, he can tap triangle as he lands, do a tactical roll, and stand right back up. It looks awesome. Has basically 0 use though.
We might see it at the frogs. You never know.
You never know. So yeah, we're coming up to frogs, which is boss 1, but before we get there, we have to clear Advent Palace, which is this area. You know, I didn't really clear this with you, Schmuck. I like to talk. You probably know that. Ironic for my name. Do you want me to trade off with you so you could explain some things, or do you just want me to take this away?
You know what?
It's a long game.
You're doing pretty good, but I'll take this one.
Sure.
So when you're in Advent Palace, the way the game tells you the right way to go is the sleep mines. So to get past the sleep mines, you could crawl over, but that's slow. So we just shoot it. So now that we're past the mines, we're entering frogs.
Indeed. There was one right there, but the sleep mine hitbox is avoidable on some of them. But yeah,
And do you
this is
guys
pretty
mind?
good. Go on.
No, I was gonna say, do you guys mind if I just jump in for a quick sub, real quick?
Go for it.
Yep. So Yeti2192 subscribe with Prime. Appreciate that.
Shout out to him.
Yep. And right now we don't have anything else, but I'll leave it up to you guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. So frogs. This is a very big, very complicated fight. big shout outs to Sparty for most of some of the newer strats you're seeing here. This was a combined effort of runners like Snock, Ragnus, and Sparty, who really devised really good ways to do this. Everything. Sorry, I waited for like, I don't know how Shmuck particularly does this cue. It looked like that's what that little punch buffer was.
Yeah, I might have missed it.
I apologize if I cost you
No,
that.
it's fine. The game audio is just quieter than what I normally play at, so it's fine. Not a big time loss.
Yeah, it's
At least not on Liquid Easy.
yeah, not on Liquid Easy. But yeah, everything Shmuck does here is on purpose. Where he places these satchels, when he places them, where he listens for audio cues. This is also one of the only audio cues that really matters. I think you got it.
Yep. As soon as he yells contact, you want to set that
Nice.
gas grenade off.
So, I mean, yeah, there's frogs all over the place. They're spawning to the left, to the right, behind you, in front of you. We know where all of those spawns are going to be. We're going to head there ahead of time, take those guys out. I think like 2 extra frogs spawn there, but overall, pretty happy with that, considering that's the floor where you lose most of your time. This one, we're going to do a bunch of pre-setup with satchels while Rat Patrol sets up themselves. This game really likes its triggers. So what we're gonna do, you notice we may have shot Jonathan up top on the roof. Now we're gonna do something similar. We're gonna punch Johnny. What that's gonna do is interrupt Johnny to stop him from doing all of his dialogue and stuff about needing, you know, to use the restroom, and cause him to start doing it immediately. And we're just gonna hit him one more time. And you know, if you didn't know, punching someone just makes them, it's efficient. It's efficient. He's gonna get knocked out. We're gonna move in, and again, we have pretty specific timing for this cycle. All those sleep gas satchels that got set earlier, unfortunate. That grenade is really annoying.
It could be cursed.
First grenade indeed. I've seen it fly into the room before and hit me onto the bed, and getting knocked on that bed is incredibly annoying. But yeah, I mean, I could explain all of that. Nice. I could explain everything that happened there, but it's really not worth it. You just need to know that that went really well for frogs. We're pretty happy with that outcome, I'd say.
Grenade aside.
Yeah, grenade aside. No, you can't do anything with that. And now a short unskippable cutscene, and then we're gonna be moving to the final floor of frogs, which again, frogs is considering the first boss. So we do have to get through it. If we were to get through it non-lethal, there'd be a reward for us at the end, but we don't need that. We don't really care about that. This is a new game. Plus, we already have the reward. All right, Bulldozer Phase. Last 4 frogs spawning in here, and then 2, I believe, come from up top on the next floor up. But again, we pre-placed a sleep gas satchel, knocked it as soon as we got a cue that we're used to, and then we're going to. I learned about this, I believe, from you, Shmuck. You just have to keep those guys busy with their animation staggered, and you skip ever needing them to line up in the first place, and you can just move straight into this segment. That's really cool.
And I learned about that from Joseph Joestar 316, so shout out to him.
Yeah, honestly, there's not many people who run this game, but just about all of us have contributed to this game somehow. This is a big 2-hour project. There's a lot of ways to run a lot of different things. So it's really nice to see what has been found between, like I said, me, Major, Sparty, Joe, Ragnus, Snock. Like, I could name so many people who have found so much for this game. So I'm just gonna shout all of them out ahead of time now, because we have a minute 40-second unskippable cutscene. It's probably not a minute 40. It feels like it. Please
feels
find
like
a way
10
to
minutes.
skip this. This is the one thing we can't skip that we want to skip. Is this. All right. So Ellie, you're just gonna run through the next 2 rooms, right? Another
Yep.
fantasy.
Yep.
Love it. Anything you'd like to talk about that I haven't covered?
No, you pretty much got it all. Ellie, go
I'm-
fast, run. Sometimes you get hit. That's about it.
Sometimes you get hit, yeah. Oh, you know something I can cover? Frogs. They actually have a pretty unique interaction with the big boss. You'll notice that unlike these guys who are getting feared, frogs don't really experience emotions, but they had to balance the way the big boss face camo interacts with the frogs. So what they did is frogs just instantly get knocked out.
Right.
That
Yeah.
is unique to this face camo, and it makes it very nice because otherwise frogs are killing machines. They will knife you, they will throw grenades at you, they will shoot you, and you can't even CQC frogs from the front because they will counter you and put you in a chokehold. We're gonna take out. Oh, well, we're not even gonna take out. We're just gonna roll through, get the alert, and move on. Or no alert. New ways to
no.
do things.
So
Ooh.
if I didn't get, or if I did hit turret guy there, we would have avoided this evasion altogether. And there's pretty much a straight line. You can run right through here, not get caught. And if you're fast enough here and take that guy out, you also won't get caught, but not that big of a deal.
I did not know that you could avoid getting seen by those 2 guys in the initial street. That's pretty cool. I mean,
I
on
found it.
LE
I
it
found it
doesn't
out
matter.
totally on accident. I was just messing around one day, and I was just like, all right, I'll just, because usually I was used to taking an alert there, so I was just like, whatever, I'll just roll through that one guy. But their vision is so poor on Liquid Easy. Yeah, I was surprised when
Yo, 1646. Solid act 1 there, other than a grenade.
all right, pretty happy with that.
let's just bring the grenade up one more time. RIP that grenade.
Curse grenade. Love to see
The
it sometimes.
hero the frogs needed. All right, Act 2. Now it's even more fun. Now I'm interested to see if you pre-menu Act 2 or if you wait. I had my own way of doing Act 2 since menus in this game are pretty user particular. I know you were putting a lot of time into re-menuing this game based on a tweet you posted, which was quite enjoyable just to see that giant. If I do this here and then this scene happens, this is
writing
gonna go into my menu.
writing stuff down like I'm writing down Mortal Kombat fatalities.
Not even wrong. Menus in this game are frustrating when it just decides, you know, this neat menu you had this weapon in this spot so that you'd use it here. Well, now we've taken the third weapon, put it in the first slot, and we've given you the operator, which you didn't even account for. So have fun.
So what I like to do is I like to roll off here, do my camouflage because it's already right there. Not scroll down that way. Do my weapons. So normally, people will do railgun first, then M82. I like to do that M82 first because of the way I menu with my weapons when I get to frogs and octopus. I mean, I could just do it right here. Do that, then do that.
Yep.
Mostly because when you get to Laughing Beauty, it's just a one tap with the M82. So when you get out of that cutscene, it's going to put you with the operator again. So I just like to do it faster, you know, immediately switch to the M82 and go for the one tap.
Yeah. Mentioned we're on something called Cycle. I didn't really explain Cycle. If you'd like to cover what exactly that is. It was introduced in Peace Walker, but it's not really super notable in Peace Walker since that game has a unique menu system. Here, it really matters if you'd like to cover that.
Yep. So there are 3 menu types in MGS4. There's standard, which is just you'll unequip and you'll re-equip whatever you had. There's recycle, I think it's called, which will just do 1 and 2, kind of like MGS2 with weapons, where it'll switch between 1 and 2 different whatever you have equipped. And then there's cycle mode, which will do the 3 things you have equipped. So, like I have the operator, the M82, and the railgun. So the way it works is it'll give you ABC, and you basically assign whatever item or weapon you want to A, B, and C for your cycle.
Yeah, that might not sound super significant, but I believe we could ask Tony here. He tried to learn this game, and he can for sure vouch for cycle saves time. It saves a lot of time to be able to have 3 weapons available to you at all times. It's incredibly different from if you were to play on what you said. There's recall and
Recall, yes.
recall is the MGS2 style where you swap between 2, and then the MGS1 is unequipped or re-equipped, which is where it's 1 or nothing, and then you have to cycle everything manually. So it was cool that they gave you those choices, but like few and far between is just the best, hands down. You really cannot play this game fast without cycle.
Yeah, menus in general are going to be your biggest time killer. If you're just starting out or learning to play or whatever, menus are going to be your time killer in the beginning.
And that's not even just RTA, because I wasn't kidding when I said literally everything in this is IGT. That now loading, that is the only time, well, with one exception, where the IGT is not counting. Everything else, it matters. Those, the press start to continue, the menus, the movement, cutscenes, skipping cutscenes, it all matters. So we do need to be pretty precise on these. So this was a new line that I think was found early last year by me. It turns out that the way we've been doing this again and again and again and again is a big boss specific line that actually doesn't save time over walking. It feels like it's a longer route with all the twists and turns here, but if you just walk through these cornfields through these I think they're rice fields this way, maybe they're soy fields, I don't know. We never come to this segment until like last year when I was like, guys, if you go this way, this combination of lines is like 5 seconds faster, which again, 5 seconds is it's a lot. It matters.
It took me
Now,
5 runs before I was a believer. At first, I was like, I don't know, this doesn't feel faster. But yeah,
right,
it
doesn't-
definitely is.
The thing that slows it down is this guy you're coming up on right here, but even if he clobs you in the face, you still save 2 seconds, I believe it was. It's great. It's so much faster. But you could really only do that path on Liquid Easy and Naked Normal. Anything else, new Game Plus, you can't even do that on New Game because there's a weapon you need on the other path. But yeah, it's cool to know that there's like 2 difficulties you can reliably do that, and then there's 3 others that you can gamble on it. But solid, normal, and up are very scary with your stamina or psych management in this game. That is our friend Bulldozer. I believe this is totally a reference to Metal Gear 1. That's the IKEA Bulldozer. He's back for revenge.
So you'll see that I just shot one of those guys. That's a personal choice. I always shoot the GPL guy just because I had one run where he shot me with that grenade launcher and I landed right in front of the bulldozer.
Oh no!
So I do the safe route and I shoot him every single time.
Oh my god, yeah. So this is one of the only rooms in MGS4 that's actually relatively random. This game is, for the most part, entirely I almost said predictive. I don't think that's the right word. Deterministic, which means what Schmuckle does determines what the game does. This game is random because the guys up top are fighting the guys down below. There's actually 2 warring factions. They can do a lot of things, but for the most part, the only time that matters is the guy up top at that door. He was actually really nice and he held the door open for Snake.
I've never seen that before.
Usually there's a body there if he's there at all. So that was pretty nice. All right, and with that, we're coming up in a series of cutscenes. If you want to explain what you're about to do for the mini boss of this chapter and potentially the boss, I don't know how much focus you need. I could cover what you don't.
Frogs I can do. Octopus you can do.
Okay.
So coming up is frogs number 2, where right before the boss comes in, we're gonna face 2 groups of frogs. One. Oh wow, I just got that. So 2 groups of frogs. One that I just shot, and then another about to come. Did I not get her?
He's not moving.
Oh, yep, she's still alive.
Oh, there she is. Unfortunately.
You wanna take over, Sarge?
I'll go.
Apparently, talking is my bane.
No worries, no worries. Hey, we gotta try. So those first group of frogs, we have to take them out. On Liquid Easy, thankfully this isn't super punishing. The goal was to bait the next set of frogs to a specific spot, but again, LE, we just pop, frogs done. So now we're gonna move into Octopus. Now, Octopus is one of the most technical fights in the game. What we're gonna do immediately, oh, that's normally she starts by shooting at you. That's an actual, never seen that, never happened before. So we're gonna charge the railgun to full. We're gonna shoot her, and that's gonna basically skip straight to what we call the hide and seek phase. Hide and seek phase is gonna cause Octopus to disappear once she's done and spawn the Mark II. We are trying to get the Mark II to spawn somewhere specific here. So we're waiting for a cue on the solid eye up top to know the Mark II's in the spot we need. Then we're going to snipe it, and we're going to line up in a specific spot. I'd say this is relatively, basically what matters, you aim the camera there. Unfortunately, we didn't get the best phase skip, but we might have still gotten phase skip. It's just a question of... Okay, we got the second best phase skip. Even getting this one is better. That skips having to find the frog, having her jump in from the roof. It goes straight to Naomi. That is definitely not intended. That was something I accidentally found one run, and it was like, wow, okay, that's a time save. Unfortunately, she jumped through the window. She's being really mean today.
This is very on brand for me. My octopus boss battles are the most cursed stuff, and she's
oh, unfortunate. You can.
She didn't even come to me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just cursed. I agree. Yeah,
it's the most cursed stuff.
What's happening?
This is very on brand for my octopus fights. It just falls apart. I'm just gonna do that. One more shot to do it.
Well, the goal was to hit her with a fully charged 50 fully charged 50 cal. Oh, new strats.
We'll just pretend this fight didn't happen.
Fully charged railgun, but you know, sometimes that's not how Octopus wants to play.
Oh my God.
This is why we do phase skip, because she does stuff like this.
She's gonna fall. Are you kidding me?
Thankfully on LE, the ball is a non-threat. All it does is knock you down. On higher difficulties like TBE, she'll charge twice, and it's an insta-kill if it hits you. But nice, we're out. Good Octopus.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Schmuckle octopus fight unless just everything went wrong.
Hey, you got face skip, so that was.
I mean, yeah,
was
that's true.
Celebrating.
It's like some RNG.
And then, so that's our first beauty fight. That was our first beauty fight. You can roll away, lay down to bait her, but on LE, since she's just gonna dodge and then get hit, and it takes one shot no matter what, you could just shoot twice, because you can actually fire that 50 caliber really quick and be done with it. On other higher difficulties, when they dodge, they take less damage after the initial shot. But again, it takes one shot and you're done. So this is the follow Naomi. Basically, at this point in the story, Naomi has been taken from us. She was in the previous cutscene, disappeared. Now we're trying to get back and find her. You're supposed to follow a bunch of footprints, which involve Naomi walking, and then the guards carrying her, and then a guard separating, and then a guard puts her high heels on, and they start taking her clothes off and hiding them. This is actually happening. Instead, we already know the path, so we're just gonna walk right under this guy who smells us 50 meters dead ahead, and you know, we were there, trust me. We're gonna move on through. The only guy who's actually a problem is this shotgun guy right here, but with the big boss camo, doesn't matter. Knock him out. He can shotgun you on higher difficulties, which is annoying. And just follow this path through. If we get seen, frogs units will show. Frogs units. English is hard. Frog units will show up. There's one in this room we're at right now on higher difficulties. Otherwise, there's only going to be the one around this corner. But again, we're on LE, so as long as we hug this wall, we don't actually really have to deal with that frog. She's just not going to see us. There's only 2 enemies left and we're out of this room. So, I mean, you know, the night vision is cool, but we don't need it. We know how this room works. There was
it's cool if you want to experience the game at 60 FPS.
Yeah,
That's about it on this
that was the
difficulty.
main discussion, was is it worth turning night vision on so the game runs at a good frame rate? But I haven't seen anyone take the time to turn night vision on every room yet, so I don't know.
I'm noticing more footprints.
New
Could you even
category,
beat
60 FPS run.
60 FPS. Excuse me. I wonder if you even have enough battery at 6 charges to do the whole thing in night vision.
I don't know. Does it recharge after every run? Or after every act, I mean?
I'm not entirely certain on that. I've not experimented a lot with it. I know that it's really good in Act 4. That's about all I know. Is it's potentially worth activating at the start of Act 4 to save time and let you see.
Yeah.
All right, so this is vehicle auto scroller number 1 of like 6 auto scrollers that are about to happen. Sorry to burst the enjoyment bubble here. If you want to take the vehicle section away.
So we start out here in auto scroller 1 with the power suit guys, and basically you can't continue until you kill those guys, which we just did. So now we're about to go on to auto scroller 2, which is the hardest enemy in the game, without a doubt. Gate boss. I don't know. Well, first is geckos, then gate boss.
Well, I was with you when you said hardest enemy. This is actually random.
Geckos, yeah, they can be a run ruiner sometimes just because of their AI, which you could say that for a lot of the enemies in the game, but Gecko especially because they can kick you, which is don't grab him.
Ooh, and that can happen. I can talk smack about people claiming this game is RNG all day, every day, because it's really not. Except for this room. How did that gecko die? What?
Right.
Except for this room. These guys, the zombies, are complete RNG. The way these geckos move, jump, and behave, complete RNG. If you guys are fans of Joe, then you know full well what this room will do to him on TBE some runs. He has nothing he can do. It's just unfortunate. Anyway, now's Gate Boss.
Now we're coming up on Gate Boss, hardest enemy in the game. Probably gonna get a game over here.
Oh no. Thankfully, you get a checkpoint coming into this room, but that would be unfortunate if this was your first game over. I have faith though. Full support.
You can can do this. We can do this.
Just gotta get through this.
As I press
unskippable
triangle.
cutscene.
You know what? That's fine. We can just go straight to this.
Well, I mean, you are on LE, so
It's true. So
Yeah.
there are different strategies to Gate Boss, which to explain Gate Boss, it's literally you're just shooting this gate. You can't actually lose here unless you really tried.
yeah.
So the strategy I like to do is I shot the tree. The strategy I like to do is I like to shoot it a little with the turret.
I'm sorry. I shot the tree.
Strategy I like to do is I like to shoot it with the turret a little, and then go to the railgun, shoot it once or twice, and then go back to the turret. Other strategies include just using the javelin. You can shoot those barrels that does a little damage. That's pretty much Gate Boss. Now it's just we're pretty much just sitting here until
Auto scroller number
the
4.
act is over.
But this one, there's like on easy, there's actually nothing to do on this one. So this is actually a nice little breather before, or well, not even before, just while you convince yourself that you have stepped into MGS4 and now have to do the next segment. Congrats, you're 35 minutes into the run. Enjoy what's coming up. I am openly admitting, have openly said, and will continue to say, I'm retired from this game. I don't run this anymore because it's honestly just not fun for me anymore. Big credit to you guys who came in and who keep doing this or who pick it up. Like, you guys deserve to have the time and take the times down. I fully support you guys, but man, I'm going to give this game what it's worth because this game sucks. There's such parts that aren't fun. It's hard to justify them.
You know what? I'll give you Act 3 sucks. The rest of the game, I mean,
I love.
I guess
Act,
that's subjective.
Act 1, 2, and 4. I will support the first half of Act 4. Up to like the wolf fight. I'll support all of that. Act 3, the second half of Act 4, and Act 5 are just like, why is this in the game?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Act 3 really is just for Act 3 really is just like it's just not good.
Oh, little thing we can talk about doing this while you avoid getting stepped on by the geckos. You'll notice that Schmuck immediately swapped off of the 40 cal or the 50 cal. That's because Snake actually runs slower when he has a two-handed weapon equipped. So optimally, whenever we can, we're going to be equipping a one-handed weapon because that is just it is definitively faster. I think Snake moves 33% faster with a one-handed weapon equipped. It was timed somewhere. I don't remember the numbers, but 33% is significant, and it's close to that.
And it's definitely noticeable. Like, if you have a two-handed weapon out, you'll notice how slower you're going.
Oh yeah. All right. As chat has said, we're in Nut 3.
Not 3.
I mean, I could explain this. I don't want to. Do you want to explain it?
I can explain it pretty easily. Walk, walk a little more, don't get caught, walk, and next thing you know, you're in Shadow Moses.
Oh, you wait, ride the bike, then you're in Shadow
then
Moses.
you're in Shadow Moses.
All right, which of the 4 resistance shots are we going for?
So first we're gonna shoot near the resistance as we get in here, and hope that he runs to the right and not straight. If he runs straight, we lost about 21 seconds. And then when he dresses up as a PMC, we'll shoot again, Hope he runs straight and not to the right, or we lost another 21 seconds. That's the gist of it.
Okay, so you're taking the two big ones. Got it.
Yeah.
I respect not going for the really hard one and the niche one that saves 2 seconds. All right, let's see if we get this first shot.
It's time to start tailing. Get on it, Snake.
Oh, okay. You have a pretty particular way of doing that. Is that consistent for you usually doing it that way?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's a nice little
We
setup.
didn't
Let's see if
get
we
it.
get it.
But
No, is that consistent? Yep.
it
we get
is.
Nope.
It's as consistent as Act 3 RNG can be.
Again, like this whole game is deterministic, but some of these things are so niche, or not niche, so like particular that it does feel random. We wanted him to go to the right down a side alley, but unfortunately he went down this alley, so now we have to wait for him to come all the way back, and we really can't do anything because MGS4, especially Act 3, is incredibly trigger centric. You can't run ahead of this guy. You have to wait for him to hit trigger A and then trigger B and then trigger C. There are audio cues, there are movement cues. Like we're at the whims of the game telling us, no, you're moving at my pace for this.
Yep, there is no going 50, going 20. You're just going MGS 40.
Yep. So if you watch the Soliton radar, you're gonna see this guy stopped. He's the blip in the top left right now. He's gonna move again, and he's gonna stop again. If we had gotten the speed strat, this stop right there at that corner, this is where he would have moved to. So the cue you need is as soon as that blip lights back up, which is indicating he's either in movement or making noise, that is your cue that you have hit the trigger you needed and can move ahead, which on higher difficulties is important because there are guards here that have to be taken out very particularly. On LE, the worst that's gonna happen is the resistance guy's gonna look at the guy and go, huh. All right, except we equipped the cry ammo. If you'd like to explain why you put that one on.
So the MK2 pistol has different ammos. It has normal tranquilizers, and it has emotion rounds. So if we tranquilize these guys, then like Sarge said, the resistance guy would look at him, go, hmm, and freeze for like 2 seconds. But if you make them cry specifically, he'll just walk past them. He'll just be like, yeah, this is every day.
Yeah, this is normal. Normal Austrian PMC guards.
Sometimes you just gotta let it out, I guess.
Yeah, I wish it was 2 seconds. It actually is closer. I think it was timed. It's like 8 seconds of him standing there.
I said few seconds, not too specifically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. But it adds up. Yeah.
You unfortunately on higher difficulties, especially new game, you kind of just have to take that. Like you can move the guards, but it's hard because on LE these guards are out. They're not coming back to the world of the waking for a long time. But on higher difficulties, they'll be up by the time. Well, actually, they'll be up before we even get out of this garden. So here's a nice little another trigger that we have to sit through and enjoy. Nice.
Nice. Thought I wasn't gonna make it.
So, fun fact for you, VC Get Down. This section in the speedrun, and Schmuck, I believe you can collaborate this because you did a Act 3 IL recently. The resistance member in particular, if you get both skips, is, I believe, 14 and a half minutes of following this guy with both skips done correctly.
Sounds about right. I think all the time you lose from the skip not going right is about 21 seconds, so sounds about right. Like if you got both the skips bad, or you didn't get the skips, then yeah, you would lose about 41 or 42 seconds. And that's not even counting the other skip you were talking about.
Yeah. One of them saves 2 and the or loses I think like 4 if you get the really bad path. But it can also come neutral. And then there's another really difficult skip that we don't understand how it works yet, found by Land Sandwich, that saves 25 seconds if you get it, but it loses 38 if you miss it. So yeah, it's really dangerous to go for that one. I believe Joe got it once in a run and was like, okay, that's cool. But not even he goes for it.
Oh yeah, okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's like a manhole you shoot into the 3rd room where the resistance guy is walking.
right, yeah.
Room 1 is, I would say, objectively the worst room in this. It's the easiest room to make a mistake in or to do something. On high difficulty, like there's 2 guards where this guy just stopped. If you don't take them out, the resistance decides I'm gonna take an alternative path, and that alternative path loses what, 2 minutes or something? It's
Something like that.
awful. Also, no one's routed any strats for the alternative path, so that's 2 minutes if you do it well. It's super easy to mess that up. Are you going to be putting the camera on to show it off, or are you just gonna flex young Snake?
What camo?
The beauty camo.
Oh, yeah, I can.
What's up to you? You can
do
show
it.
off what it
There we
does
go.
in the next room, because you won't be able to use it in the last room. Look at that. We're now playing as Laughing Octopus.
All right, buddy, I'll meet you over there.
God, this would be so bad if you put that on. Like, look what it does. You just ran in front of that guard with the Mark II equipped.
Didn't even think about that.
You were actually gonna do it. So this is the second room. This room is a lot of particular triggers, just back to back to back to back to back. I really want to emphasize triggers. You could see just where the resistance guy stops and starts. All of those are a trigger that you need to be really close to this guy on. But the thing I was talking about with the beauty camo in Act 3 is that as long as you haven't triggered a alert with wearing this, we can actually run out into that courtyard there where there are 3 guards and a searchlight, and we can just dance in circles and do backflips and stuff, and no one out there is going to care at all, because we're just a pretty lady walking around the streets of Austria at night. Now, if we had the pistol out, that would be another story. But right now, all we have is a knife, so we're completely harmless.
Yeah.
They don't actually care there's a knife in your hand, which is great.
Because, you know, everyone has a knife when they walk.
Yeah.
In their hand, I guess I should say.
But, I don't even remember where I was going with that. There's a guard. Take him out. There's a can. Yeah. If you kick this can, that's awkward. I think we've all done that once.
We're risking it. We're risking it. We did it.
No. Let's go. Yeah, if you,
we have to make our own fun in Act 3 because, you know,
you really
it's Act
do. If you kick the bucket, the resistance guy goes, huh? And if you're wearing young Snake, he goes, who's that? And he pulls out a gun immediately and starts shooting at you. If you're wearing the beauty camo, then he goes, oh, and a heart's appear above his head, and he slowly walks up to you and he goes, hey, pretty lady, what can I
Looking
do for you?
Man. That's so cringe.
They're staring at you. It's like, whoops. All right.
I just like to imagine Snake just goes back into his real voice and is just like, this is getting really uncomfortable.
I'm gonna let you have time.
See if
I
it
don't know
works.
if you do that visual or audio cue. There's 2 different ways to do it, so I let you have that. Did we get it?
So when he does the second, we didn't get it, but when he does the second whistle, and as soon as his little blip in the top right on the solid eye starts to, it gets big like that, that's when you shoot. And if we got it, he would have ran straight down that
Yeah.
road to the left, but we didn't. So
Unfortunate we didn't, but thankfully there's no guards or anything in this room we have to worry about. On any difficulty other than Liquid Easy, there'd be a truck, there'd be a Jeep, there'd be guards on every corner. But on this difficulty, it's just a empty open street, and it kind of looks really weird because it looks like they designed this and then they went, you know what, LE, just delete the guards, just delete them. There are still guards here. You can still get an alert, but you have to go really far off the beaten path to find them. But what kind of fun are we gonna have in the third room? I have no idea what to do in this room.
we can kick the can when we get to it.
Yo, the Joestar can. Well, that's in the first room. You're gonna have to.
Oh no, there's another one when
what's the
we
can
go
in the
we go
third
down
room?
the alley. There's a can that we can
All right.
kick.
Yo, chat's in favor of kick the can.
We're kicking the can. It's been
We're going
decided.
back. We're going back to being a kid in the 60s, back before we had all this new fangled technology when we had to kick cans for entertainment. Oh, also, fun fact about the resistance guy, you can tell who he is because he has a fanny pack on his back and he is wearing a sprayed green bicycle helmet. Honestly, it's a pretty decent attempt considering the other resistance guys didn't notice it, or the other PMCs don't notice it, but yeah, it's it's a pretty poor attempt if you actually look at him.
It's about as effective as Asian 47 putting a black tie on instead of a red tie, and then he's an FBI man.
Oh man. That's pretty high-end I almost said sabotage. Saboteur? You know what? Word. Okay, so yeah, if we were going for the really big time save, it would be this manhole right here we would shoot, but we're not going for that because it's very risky and very slow if you miss it. On LE, it's not a problem, but on higher difficulties, if you attempt to go for that and miss, like I said, there's a Jeep going around the room. It is possible that the resistance will just go, oh no, and run, smash straight into a Jeep. And the Jeep is a one-shot. You do not want him to die by the Jeep because you have to redo the whole room.
We're gonna wait till he gets to the grenade, and then we're gonna play a good old-fashioned game of kick the can right there.
Yeah, when he gets the grenade, so this whole section of him walking up through the thing, and this whole slow walk, it would have skipped all of this if we had gone for it and gotten it. All right, I'm excited. What's your goal with this can?
We're gonna try to get it to stand on the railing right there.
Oh, okay.
Going for a bold goal.
Let's go. Full sport. Well, it went
Still,
somewhere.
We can still do this. We still have a chance.
Come on, you got it.
Got this.
Oh.
Well,
Oh,
we tried.
well, it went somewhere.
Give that an E for effort.
We tried. Thankfully, there are no more triggers that matter. Once we get through that alley, the resistance is, well, okay, there's one trigger that matters. The resistance is guaranteed to walk the whole rest of this path on his own, no matter where Snake is or what he's doing. So we just have to be at the final end trigger, and we will be through this chapter, or through this 14.5-minute auto scroller. What number are we at? We're at 4 leaving Act 2, so this is 5, 6, and 7. I can't justify the middle of this game, man. It's just so much walking and following.
I refuse to believe anyone who play tested Act 3 was like, Act 3 is my favorite act.
They even put Easter eggs like people playing Metal Gear 2 just to spice it up. You know, actually, something I can talk about. The in-game is the MG Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots integral podcast, to give its full name. They actually you can still get the episodes even though the download feature has been quote unquote removed from the game. You can still download it all, and I think it's episode 12. They talk about Act 3. And if you listen to that podcast, it actually makes this act much more interesting because they talk about, did you know each of these buildings actually has an assigned house number? And you might say, well, yeah, they're trying to be realistic. They want house numbers. Actually, those house numbers were designed internally so that during testing, if they found a problem with a house or if they needed to refer to one, they could say lot 102, and everyone on the dev team for this section instantly knew where to look.
That's crazy.
I know. You can go to the houses and see those numbers. I mean, yeah, it sounds simple. Like you could say that about anything, but they had pretty specific house names that said which quadrant they were in, which or what street they were on, what segment. It's one of the cool things that they do actually talk about in the Integral podcast. Though to be honest, the whole thing's relatively cool. It's a good listen. You could find it on YouTube if you just want to listen to. I think it's like 18 or 20 episodes. Well, that was my.
I remember a few episodes. I did listen to it a long time ago, but yeah, it is pretty cool. I definitely suggest checking it out too.
Yeah, when I was going for Chicken Emblem, but before I got to the 23 hours where I didn't actually have to pay attention to the game, yeah, I just said that. I'm gonna move past it now. When I was actually paying attention to like being crouched for an hour, being crawling for an hour, I was just playing the iPod. I was just listening to all of the different tracks on it. So I have the Japanese Integral podcast and the US Integral podcast downloaded. I just listened to them both, along with all the music, because you could go through everything, including, excuse me, all the DLC except for Chair Dance, and still not be done with the miscellaneous garbage that you have to do for all emblems in this game. Speaking of all emblems, Schmuck, can we expect an all emblems speedrun from you in the future?
I'll think about it.
Alright, you know what? I expect that. I expect and accept that. Also, we're on Bike Chase. I didn't even deem it worthy of discussion, but is there anything you would like to talk about on Bike Chase?
The Bike Chase is just an autoscroller. It's an autoscroller. When we see Raven and a couple screens, we'll shoot her with a grenade launcher, and that's pretty much the gist of it. We get her down to a certain amount of health and helps with the boss battle.
Now,
Act 3 really is just not interesting.
Yeah, they do give you the option to push, I think it's square, so you can actually have a cool, innovative camera, or innovative cinematic camera for funsies, but you have to be shooting so much during this that you really don't get a chance to see too much of this. Then again, we're on LE. What do we care? Nothing's going to die except for the things we shoot in one hit.
I think it's literally impossible to die on Liquid Easy. Like, I could not shoot anyone here and... Oh, that guy caught on...
I fully agree. You can walk away and go make 2 sandwiches and come back, and you'll be at the press start to continue screen. But if you had something that was pushing start for you, you would be at the Raven fight. You just can't die on LE.
So for a lot of people, you might think, well, what's the interesting part of LE then? What's so fun about it? And I think it's fun just in the sense of you're just competing to go as fast as possible with your routes.
Yup.
And everyone's menus might be different too. Like some people do different menus for different situations.
Yep.
It's really a personal journey, I guess, when you do an LE run.
Personal journey is a very apt description. From start to finish, from deciding I'm gonna run MGS4 to getting your first time and then doing it again, it's all one giant spiritual journey of, yes, I've decided to do this. Yes, I'm going to sit through this cold waterfall for 48 hours and do this. And then you don't quit, and you just realize you sat under a cold waterfall for 48 hours, and you gained nothing.
You gain the knowledge that you just ran MGS.
Yeah, that was your gain.
It's pretty much decided throughout the community that MGS4 is definitely a meme of a game to run, but I don't know. It's the only one that keeps me coming back, so...
Hey,
if you try it, you might like it. You never know.
As long as you're having fun, like I'm gonna smack talk this game again and again. But if you have fun, if you want to commit to it, like I will be here to support you and help you along the way to learn this game, because this was my first Metal Gear Speed game, was this, and I've contributed too much to see this game get thrown into the meme pile with other games like survive. Like, there's actually a lot of cool stuff in this game, and because it has the MGS4 tag, people actually look at that and go, I want to try that. So someone has to be there to help them so they don't quit immediately, because a lot of people pick this game up and then go, oh no, what have I just done? Like, one of the things we didn't talk about, what is your experience? How do you enjoy the fact that the camera is 360 degrees of motion, but Snake is 8-way directional motion?
The movement is the biggest, my biggest problem with this. It's just a lot of it is because of the PS3 stick. It's a squared circle or whatever they call it, and it's just so awkward. So the way Snake moves is awkward. It's probably my least favorite thing in the game. Not counting
it's literally just take an octagon, which is an 8-sided polygon, if you guys don't know what that is, put it inside a circle, and that is what you were dealing with at all times. One stick for the camera, which is the circle, the outer circle. The other stick is the octagon on the inner circle, and you have to manage that the whole game. So if you ever see like Shmuck head a weird direction, he's just heading one way without respect to the camera, or the camera's one way and Snake's heading a different weird direction, it's because, again, LE is all about those lines. So we know what direction to hold the analog in maybe acts 1 and 2, and then we completely forget because we just sat through Bike Chase and don't remember how to play the game anymore. This is like 24 minutes of auto scrollers. Yo, nice. Just blasted those frogs.
Right. Through the window.
This is meant to be like the really big ending finale of just frogs constantly. Oh, I think you hit the lamppost.
She like floated down. What happened there?
MGS4 things. I don't know. But yeah, this is meant to be like the really big ending finale. We actually know which of these frogs are capable of shooting you and which ones aren't, and also which ones are RNG. So in reality, there's like 2 frogs that will actually do anything to you there. Now, those frogs can kill you if you have low HP, but there's really only like 2 enemies there that are actually a problem. Pretty much nothing else will ever hit you. Which is why it's so hard to die on LE. Yo, field goal. Why it's so hard to die on LE, because of the like 3 frogs that will hit you. You can see how much damage we took from getting hit maybe twice. So we're not winning. I wanted to talk about menus. So Act 1 has 1 menu. this is my personal approach, but in general, it's always going to be built off of this. Act 1 has one menu that needs done. Act 2 has one menu that needs done. Act 3 has one or two menus, and Act 4 has one or two menus. So the way we have to menu here is we have to either menu for Raven and the start of Act 4, or we menu at the start and then we do the entire rest of the act based on that. I believe Schmuck, are you set up to menu at the start of Act 4? Is that how you're gonna do it?
So the way I menu in Act 4 is I do it when I go through the door to the snowfield.
Also, that was Raven.
Yep, that was Raven.
It's just line up a shot, take the shot, and it's done. That's why we use the grenade launcher at the start. Okay, so yeah, that's the other like big way to do it is I personally do what Schmuck would do his menu right before going into Wolf. I menu here right before taking out Raven Beauty so that I have a full setup until after Wolf. But basically, the thing you need to know is that in Acts 3 and Acts 4, you have to fit 3 menus into there. If you menu optimally, somehow you just have to find a spot for that third menu, because doing like optimal gadgets, 5 inventory spots is just not enough for all the tools that you need to get through these as quickly as possible, considering what is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Act 5, which is one menu, depending on how you menu it. With you menuing right before Wolf, you probably don't need to do Act 5 has 2 menus. Usually one at the start and then one after Mantis.
I'm sorry, I lied a little. I don't menu when I go into the snowfield. I menu when I go when the cutscene is over with Wolf and you have your M4 equipped, because I take off the M4.
Okay, so you just accept the game is going to give you something you don't want and adjust around that.
Yeah.
I believe that is the last time the game forces the M4 in your inventory. Everything after that, Snake has the... No, that's not true.
No, Act 5,
Frogs,
yeah.
The Frogs Head in Act 5, you have the M4 on. It's like, this is the kind of stuff that we have to sit down and think about, because in this cutscene, it's going to give you the M4. In this cutscene, it's going to give you the Operator. In this cutscene, it's going to give you the Mark II. Like, you need to know what it's going to give you, when it's going to give it to you. Yo, nice capture card transition.
Thank you. It's my favorite channel.
I don't run MGS1, so if you want to explain what we're about to see.
I don't run it either, but what you're about to see is I'm going to grab the chaff grenade. I'm going to get caught. I'm going to grab the chaff grenade because you run faster with the chaff grenade. Get hit because I can't dodge. Attempt to do a line that I've seen people do that I don't do constantly at all.
Yo, let's go!
Get in there! Get in there! Okay. Okay. IGT doesn't count here, so you know what? I don't care.
Alright, so we have a lot of MG. Oh, you hit continue.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Stats don't count. We're doing it.
Right,
I'm determined now.
Let's go. Hey, you got through without getting shot. You're learning the line. Oh, never mind.
I can't with the DS5.
Right, so we're gonna do a quick chaff cancel. Oh, actually, you didn't even cancel the throw, did you?
You know what? Blame the controller, not blaming me.
We have a lot of MGS1 runners. I'd like a concise review of that. For both of us.
How was that line? Was that pretty good?
I thought that was the best thing I've ever seen.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Thank you. We're getting a lot of decents in chat for you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so what did happen was MGS4 is actually coded to boot into a PlayStation 1 emulator. I don't know if it's specifically built into the game or if it is the PS3 version. I think it's just a specific built segment, because it's only that segment. You can still do things like vent zip there, but you only have access to that one room. But it's
Yeah,
just a
I
cool
believe
little
that
like
is.
it's just a cool little like flashback section. As we said, time isn't running. It's actually paused the IGT during that nice little wow, cool gecko dodge. I hadn't seen that before.
Thank you.
Just a nice little like relax. The fun thing here is with Elgato capture cards, that can really screw you up because your capture card could just decide, nah, I'm done. I'm not loading anymore. And you have to like reconnect your whole capture card, and it's annoying. It's frustrating. Have you ever had your capture card just decide it was done after the MGS1 segment?
It did happen once. I don't use an Elgato. I use just some non-name brand thing for, it looks like a flash drive
Okay.
basically. But
Yeah.
it did happen to me once.
Yeah. So
The audio
that's
still went through, but the video was just done.
yeah. It's
It's
really
weird.
annoying when that happens. Both I know me and Sparty have both lost runs because our capture card just decided, no, not anymore.
Oh my god, camera.
See, this is I pointed out the camera 360 thing, and now you're like, ah.
You done did it.
Snake is always gonna move forward with respect to the camera, but that is with respect to a 360-degree camera. So if Schmuck like taps the analog stick slightly right or left, then Snake is gonna head slightly right or left if he just holds Snake's movement stick forward. So we do have to be wary of how we do that.
And if you notice that sometimes Snake just starts walking for some reason, it's because of the dead zone on the DualShock 5. I'm not using a PS3 controller, I'm using the DualSense. So the dead zone is a little wonky with it, so that's why he starts walking every now and then.
Yeah, so the the DS5 is better than the DS4 by a large margin, but this game really is designed for the DualShock 3. And you can tell because some of the things that the DualShock 3 has, the DualShock 5 has. So another thing we don't have, and I don't even know if we're gonna see it at relevant in Act 5, will depend on the strats, is that Snake can only overhand grenades. He cannot underhand a grenade on a DS4 or a DS5, which
Right.
can potentially be a problem. And then also in Act 5, they'll give you like an indicator to shake the controller. Nah, broski, that ain't working. that doesn't work. You're not on a DS3. Did you know, by the way, that you can actually skip killing that gecko with a super precise roll into that hallway?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I had a clip, but the clip is so old that it has been deleted off of Twitch, and I cannot find it anymore.
Oh,
I was actually trying to find it to show you one day, but it's really hard, and I think I've only ever seen it once. It's so hard and or unknown that it's not even done in multi-segment runs. But it can be done. You can skip having to kill that gecko and get into the elevator without killing it. It's great.
sounds like it'd be pretty useful. I mean, you'd save what, like 6 seconds, 7 seconds?
Yeah, it would save. That's about right. You need to be pretty precise not to get seen by the gecko, but if you do get seen and have to kick the gecko out at the end of the hallway, because you can't activate the elevator with the
For the
with the
record,
gecko seeing you.
It is possible to one-tap the geckos with the
Oh, yeah.
M82. My aim was just a little off there.
We might one tap this
In
one.
there.
Aw, nope.
Rip.
Yeah, it's
I
either
mean, 3
one
taps are
or
better than
3.
like 6 because
Yeah.
bad aim.
Okay, Snake.
Yeah, that gecko has a EMP shield around it, so if you get here without the 50 caliber, you kind of just cry and then sit there shooting it with the what's the main gun called? The mine has just blanked. The rifle.
Tranquilizer? Oh, the M82.
No,
I'm not
no,
paying
the
attention. I'm not gonna lie.
The carbine, whatever the
Oh,
carbine's
the
called.
M4.
M4 custom. You just have to like tranquilize its legs and then just M4 custom its head until it dies.
You
which
may
is
see
really
that in Act
slow.
5 with me, by the way, because my Act 5s tend to be a little cursed on top deck.
You know, Act 5 is just cursed.
That's true.
That's okay. So here's the menu
So-
you were doing. So I don't know this particular menu timing, so I'm actually curious to see what you're equipping.
So, it's a little wonky because I'm doing a mind. My mind is just going blank too, not the RPG.
Okay.
That's pretty much the menus I do here.
Okay, that makes sense. So most of that was for Wolf, and then up to Vamp, I can see. And then you're just gonna let the game give you the railgun by default, and probably use that.
And then the Act 5 menu I do, I'm gonna have to put the grenade launcher back on, but that's fine because, come on, because the I gotta put the Mantis thing on too. So that's a bad menu, but oh.
All right, so I'm just gonna let this wolf speak for itself. And perfect. That is exactly how you want Wolf to go. That Wolf makes up for the octopus earlier, in my opinion, because if Wolf goes wrong, GG 10 minutes.
All right.
So, what happened there was the beast forms have special interactions with the color of their emotion. So Wolf is crying is blue. When you hit Wolf with a crying grenade or crying smoke, she becomes extra susceptible to stun damage, and she gets hurt a little bit in the process. So instead of the normal 6 stun grenades it would take, where you just throw a smoke under her face and then 6 stuns, you throw 1 smoke blue and then 3 stuns, and that absolutely trivializes that fight. Now that is a lot harder than it looks. The only thing that's consistent is how Snake's gonna do his overhand throw, and based on how you're aiming it and where Wolf is. On higher difficulties, Wolf is not guaranteed to be there. She does move, but on LE she's always there. If Schmuck had accidentally hit Wolf with that grenade, yeah, that would have gone way.
It would have been Act 2 all over again.
So, it is really nice to see Wolf go well for that. Considering what is immediately coming up, I dislike Act 4 immensely, like from the moment you get to Wolf to the end, because it's just a dumb boss fight into a dumb room, into a dumb boss fight, into a dumb boss fight. I mean, thematically, the final boss is really cool. In a speedrun sense, it's super easy to do because it's 100% consistent, but like, when you miss it, it's like, why am I even completing this run now? I just invested an hour
and Liquid Easy,
of
like
my life.
Liquid Easy too, like you do have that benefit of the, I'm just going the safe way.
Yeah,
you do have the benefit of the
Dead zone.
brain talk, please.
That's fine. On Liquid Easy, you have
on
the
Liquid
benefit.
Easy, you do have the benefit of no RNG for Wolf, like you do harder difficulties. She always spawns in that place, so it's even more heartbreaking if you manage to screw that up. Which I mean, I did plenty of times. Throwing that grenade is harder than it looks. Like that was one of the things I had to practice Act 4 a lot. Yeah, Dead Zone.
This is actually a pretty bad room to have dead zone issues in, because the chaff grenade, it works once, and then the second time it doesn't really work on the big gecko anymore. So if he's on a bad cycle, it could really screw him over, which is why I noticed you threw the chaff on the other side of the room. I liked that to make up for the fact that you might walk. That's going to get the gecko's attention to look the other way. This is the one room in the game where if we get an alert, that door does not open, so you have to sit here and fight every single dwarf gecko that spawns. We have a question from chat while you do some cutscenes. Oh right, you have Vamp. Okay, I'll ask it after Vamp here. Vamp is a incredibly hard fight, super challenging. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let Vamp go into position. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we have the solar gun.
Oh my god.
Oh no, see, you see? No.
Okay, so I am gonna blame the controller for this one, legitimately, because pressure sensitivity is really wonky with the DualSense.
No, you didn't even
Please go
put it
down. I'd like to point out that I had a warm up run before this. I got perfect RNG. I got face skip. Please jump down from there. I got face skip. Got RNG. It was a good run. This is cursed. Where did he go?
See, the Vamp is cool.
I'm not
because
having this.
Vamp's initial move location is scripted, but if you don't take Vamp out in the first cycle, then Vamp becomes very mean. This is actually, as far as I know, all random at this point.
Let's pretend that didn't happen.
What happened?
Don't,
I don't know. What
please.
you're talking
Okay. Yeah, just pretend Vamp died right there when I shot him the first time.
about. Yeah,
And
perfect Vamp.
perfect Vamp. No problems. DualSense is great. Better than DS3. That's actually true. Everything's
so-
better than DS3.
Turns out vampires are weak to sunlight, so all we do is one sunlight takes him out, and then because Vamp turns out he's actually in the lore a unkillable being because he's so souped up on nanomachines, kind of like Armstrong, but he's a vampire instead. You just the syringe and Vamp dies. It's that easy. Why did he not just have a syringe in MGS2?
The syringe
Like,
is the weapon to pass Metal Gear. In this game.
it really is. Or just walk up to Ray and just syringe. Anyway, during this section, there's really nothing to do. The only mechanic is if you see a gecko blinking red, it is a self-destruct sequence that we have to take out before it ends. I think on Liquid Easy, it's 30 seconds, so we're fine. Before I get to the chat question, I want to point one thing out. If you've never noticed this, Schmuck or chat, look at the current resolution on stream. You have this nice quarter or half of the screen block that is Snake. Then you have a little black bar separating. That must make sense. Then you have Raiden and Vamp here. Have just less than a quarter, because to the right of that is this nice little black strip where the devs were like, we can't fit all of this in our nice 16:9 display. What do we fill it with? And someone went, a black bar. And the rest of the team went, agreed. That's what we'll do. So enjoy staring at that god-awful resolution that they put this scene in now.
The strangest letterboxing decision in history. Singular letterbox, not plural.
The question from chat, which I'm pretty certain was directed to me, coming from Speedy, but I will ask it for you. Would you rather do Act 3 twice or the second half of Act 4? Personally, I will take the second half of Act 4 over Act 3 twice. That seems like a no-brainer to me, but I figure it's worth asking. Just in case.
Absolutely. I'd play the entire game again and be able to skip Act 3 if I could.
Yeah, I'll play it Act 1, 2, 4, and 5. Or yeah, 1, 2, 4, and 5 if you remove Act 3. I'll do it. Hold me back. I'll do it. It's really just Act 3 is such a like pace killer in this game, and then because you're already in this lukewarm mood from that Act 3, you get this pseudo pickup of coming back to Shadow Moses in Act 4, and then it's immediately, for me, just taken away from you by what could potentially be a horrible wolf fight into this. Like, I do not find this section fun at all.
These sections where you're just kind of like just existing is kind of annoying.
It's almost like it's another auto scroller.
There's a term for it. What?
There's an auto scroller. But yeah, thankfully this is entirely scripted. We know how many red geckos there are gonna be. We know how long this section is. So when you see Raiden shoot those blades out, this is when he's gonna do the final blow to Vamp. So he's gonna knock Vamp off. I don't remember if there's any more fighting. I think he just does the sword swing. So we're pretty much done with this. It's pretty much over the moment that Raiden shoots the knives out of his body, and because this is the finishing blow, and we do the nice little cocaine stash, because you know Snake's been in the snow all day. I think ad break ended as soon as I said cocaine stash, and now everyone's just confused what they came back to.
Good timer.
Good timing. Dude, like you said, we gotta make our own fun with MGS4, man.
It's true. I mean, Act 1 and 2 is great. Act 5 is good. But Act 3 is just... I mean, Act 4 is good too. I like Act 4. But the second half of Act 4 is debatable.
Yeah, so Act 5 is about, I think, 21 minutes. So I'm curious, looking at your estimate, were you planning on sitting through credits, or were we not watching credits?
I have a feeling on my estimate I gave IGT, which is, I think I did 156.
Yes, you did one.
RTA, it's probably going to be more like around 146 or 7,
Would you
depending
like
on
to
how
know,
Ray goes.
Would you like to know what you're at going into Ray, or no?
Sure, you can tell me.
You are at 1 hour and 24 minutes going into Ray.
Okay, yeah, we have like that sounds about right. Yeah, so like 25-ish minutes left. Because Act 5 is short.
You have 32 minutes before you're at it. So, okay.
I mean, yeah, and I would be farther ahead or back.
It happens. We're here
Act
for
2,
fun.
Act 2 kind of went south. And like I said, my warm-up run, everything went perfect. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I remember your tweet where you're like, I just had a perfect Act 3 with everything right. Why can't this happen in runs? Welcome to MGS4. Nothing goes right when you want it to in MGS4. It is so frustrating.
This is Murphy Gear Solid, what you're playing right now.
Only real thing to do in a wreck tunnel is just dash. Also, if you could even hear commentary, I didn't even think about that. This thing is so loud for nice wall. For just no reason at all. It's super loud. Do you need audio for this Ray fight, or can I explain it?
No, you can explain it.
Okay. So basically, what we're coming up to in Ray, we're gonna do a very particular setup for this. Different people do it different ways. We're going to fire some AT missiles, get the boss to get stunned, take advantage of the fact that he's stunned to step forward a very particular way while charging the FE laser. And if we had done it right, we would have baited Ray to jump. Unfortunately, I think Shmuck, you accidentally stopped walking forward a little too early, and this feels like RNG to a lot of people because of how particular this setup is. I think I spent like 4 hours figuring out a setup for LE because it's not the same as solid normal. You have to do something really weird to make LE work with the setup.
Is there a consistent setup for this? Because I was under the impression it was just all RNG.
No, there is a consistent setup for Liquid Easy and Naked Normal, and then there's a different consistent setup for Solid Normal, Big Boss Hard, and TVE. I could give you the setup after this, so you get
I'd appreciate it.
That helps. But yeah, I spent, like I said, I spent like 4 hours figuring out a setup for this. Yeah, you had the right idea there. I think it's literally because you stopped walking in the middle there that's what got you.
It was, yeah. Oh.
So, now that Ray is basically on his own, and we also missed the second backup, which is really hard to get the second backup, we're pretty much at the whims of just beating this as quickly as possible, which translates to don't let Ray do any cinematic cutscenes and don't do any cinematic cutscenes to him. However, if it's the last one like this, you know, we can show off. Doesn't really matter. The fight is officially over when the HUD has basically fully disappeared. There's a little yellow speck down there, but the HUD is gone. That's the end of the fight. Not a great Ray, but a good recovery. You lost maybe what, a minute to having to actually fight Ray there. which
Sounds about
in
right.
in MGS4 terms, I mean, a minute sucks. You're not getting record, but like you made it through the fight, and that's what matters. All right, we're coming up on Act 5. Anything you want to talk about for Act 5?
Top deck is cursed. There's a good chance I'm gonna get caught going before I get to the watertight door, the seal door. But that's fine because we're on liquid easy, so it might lose like, 20-ish seconds, but it's not the end of the world.
20. I hope it's only 20. On LE, yeah, I could see it only being 20 because
That's what I meant. Because I'm on LE. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like if
you
you
might
were in
get
a hard, if you were in a harder
hit.
difficulty, you'd probably die.
Yeah, probably die. Yes. Cinnamon. I like that. That's I've not seen that interpretation. I won't go into the normal interpretation of that, I hear, but cinnamon is a new take and I like it. All right, so do you menu at the start or are you good? You're just going.
Yeah, I'm menuing here. So we want the MGL operator. We don't need the solar gun. We want the Mantis doll.
Oh, you
And
put the Mantis doll on here.
Chef.
Okay.
You want Chef? I might have just took it off. I'm not sure.
I think
Put
the.
that.
Oh, that's fine. You got it. Yeah, it's you actually need to think about these menus. Like you're so far into this game that your brain is like, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? Like I would be remiss to not say if you do want to run this game, have a cheat sheet with your menus next to you. It's only 7 menus, but ooh, that 7 menu is important. So yeah, right there.
Oh my god.
Did you? I think we got it. Unless he lands on you. No, we're
We
good.
did. That scared me.
Yeah, that is an optimal top deck. That is what we want. That might not look like much, but all of that movement was super precise to get around a group of frogs. Throwing that chaff exactly when we did is the most important part of the whole of top deck. It might not seem important, but there are some geckos that spawn just after we throw that. If we throw the grenade too late, the geckos are actually immune to the chaff grenade. If we throw it too early, the geckos recover from the chaff grenade before we are able to get past them. And if we get an alert on top deck, the whole room goes into alert, and it is almost impossible to escape that on pretty much any difficulty. Liquid easy, you have a chance, but on any higher difficulty, you're just like, well, I got an alert on top deck. That was a fun way for the run to die. Now, we're on Frogs 5. That's what I call it. You guys might know, if you've seen higher difficulty runs, that there's something called Frog Skip. Unfortunately, it is physically impossible in this game to do Frog Skip on Liquid Easy due to the mechanic that the frogs die in one hit or become unconscious in one hit. The fact that a frog can maintain its stamina in a smoke grenade is required, or in a smoke grenade or to a Mark II shot is required to do Frog Skip. As such, it's straight up not possible. Thankfully, it has been timed. Frog Skip on Naked Normal is about, we're gonna go back to this number, 21 seconds faster than doing LE, a very good LE where you have to fight all 15 frogs. I don't see too many people run LE. I don't recommend people start with LE. Do you have any strats for those frogs, or do you just I see frog, I kill frog?
I see frog. Oh, I should probably do that. I see frog, I kill frog. That's basically the
Okay.
strat. When they're on the railing up there, it is possible to get them all before they
Yeah.
jump down, which is optimal. But
Yeah.
I let one jump.
Yeah, you have to, like, the frogs spawn consistently, but you have to know where they are and be able to, like, not aimbot, but you have to know and go to where they are to get them without jumping. So this is Mantis. Mantis is pretty easy, as long as you don't let her hit you on every difficulty. The Mantis herself doesn't really change too much. Yo, it's just not hitting that doll. What the heck? It's how tough the doll is that changes. Now on LE, it's 2 shots, cutscenes, 2 shots, cutscene, 2 shot. It turns out, I think, that I think the fastest Mantis, not fastest, the, like, optimal balance between damage and phases is something weird, like Big Boss Hard, she takes 1 less hit than expected. Just a random factor used. But after we shoot the doll and knock it out of our hands, we pick it up. Because this is New Game Plus, we already have a doll, but it is required to pick it up. And then you saw the game told us to shake the controller. I guarantee you the Schmuckle was not shaking the controller. He just used the right analog, I believe, which caused her to apparently rise to the sky. I've never actually seen how that works.
This game is cursed.
Rise to the sky and just spontaneously we win. And then MGL 140, just like everything else that hits hard, 1 shot, take the beauty out. MGL 140 is the optimal way to do that. It's actually better than the 50 caliber, but you only have it for 3 of the beauties, 2 if you menu the way that Schmuckle did. So you use it where you can, get it out of the way, and that's that. So this is final approach. It's too short to call an auto scroller, but Schmuck, would you like to explain what you are holding on the controller for this second?
So, what I got equipped right now. Do you mean the chaff grenade?
No, I literally meant what are you holding on the controller?
Oh, I got my thumb on the triangle button.
There we go. That's it.
This is Act Triangle.
Act Triangle.
Triangle boss is the hardest boss. Forget gate boss.
He's already prepped for that. Hold up, hold triangle.
There's been plenty of streams where you can hear on the mic, as soon as I get control of Snake back here, I start tapping triangle just because I'm so used to it.
Yeah. Ironically, this is probably one of the hardest, like, little turns in the game. You have to come out of that and decide, am I going to move, or am I going to rotate the camera, or am I going to throw my chaff grenade? Because the camera is oriented in a horrible position. Snake, because of how movement works, is going to head into a wall or not where you want, and there's all these enemies, so you have to get that chaff grenade out. Really, the chaff grenade is the most important thing, because otherwise these enemies are just going to constantly trip you. You can equip the barrel and roll through them. It's not very quick, but it will prevent you from getting tripped.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, that's what they do on New Game, is they go through that with the barrel, because you don't have enough chaffs for that section.
Okay.
Okay. Triangle boss.
Triangle boss.
So, the thing I hate to tell people is, it is actually possible to lose time on this segment. This is the one thing that you might say, it's just an auto-scroller, that it's actually not an auto-scroller. Because remember how we pointed out that Snake's movement is a octagon within a circle? Nowhere is that more prevalent than right here. The default camera angle, if you just hold forward with respect to that, Snake will just crawl into a wall. And like, if you just hold forward and leave, you will die to this segment because you are just crawling into a wall. So all these little camera adjustments that you see Schmuckle's doing here are because he has to make it so that Snake is going as forward as possible. And every time he gets shocked, it's going to change Snake's position. It's going to change the camera. So you see a new camera. Now he can thankfully tap triangle. Fun fact, if you enter that cutscene angled wrong because you still have control of Snake's angle while he's tapping triangle, you can have Snake face straight into the wall and just plow right into it while mashing triangle. Don't know if you've seen that before. It's possible. Not very fun to realize you've been mashing triangle into a wall.
Oh yeah, I've gotten some bad angles before. Like coming into this last hallway here, I've definitely I haven't been paying attention, and I do literally just face plant right into the wall.
Oh no.
So focused on pressing triangle, sometimes you just don't realize it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, this whole thing is scripted. The only thing that matters is that door at the end, the light at the end of the hallway, that door has to open and stay open, because it is possible the door opens and then shuts again. I don't know what causes that, but when it is open and stays open, then this is meant to be the quote-unquote torture scene of the game. You can thankfully put the controller down and say, I'm good, I do not have to keep doing this. However, I know multiple runners find satisfaction in preventing the triangle prompt from showing up. So I'm interested to see here if we're going to get triangle lists or if we're going to get, I'm done, I'm setting the controller down now.
Well, now I feel like I gotta take the challenge.
I respect you no matter which decision you take, because I will willingly admit, I put the controller down. I'm not mashing triangle. No. I know that when the door is open, I'm safe. And I'm done.
If I'm on run number 2, then yeah, maybe less mashing, but yeah, first run, why not?
All right. So now we're confirmed safe. We could stop here if we wanted, but it looks like we're gonna go all the way. All right, let's see if we got this. So it's almost certainly going to show up once, because it's pretty hard to prevent it from showing up once. But what? Oh, yo, the mash god, no triangle prompt. That's impressive. It wants you to push triangle a lot harder or a lot faster than you think. It's really just for show, but like honestly, that is really impressive not getting a triangle prompt there. Okay, cutscenes. Liquid. Are you gonna go full focus on Liquid?
Yes.
Okay.
I will say ahead of time, pressure sensitivity, just like with Vamp, can be a problem. I don't fully expect to get infinite combo here.
No.
Okay, well.
It's good.
But I'm gonna try.
It's fine. It's fine. So I will, while Schmuck focuses on getting through this, I will let, I'll explain this. So Liquid is split into 4 phases. As Schmuckle alluded to, there is a infinite combo. You can see it going on right now. Phase 1 is reminiscent of MGS1. For the most part, Liquid is going to behave really well. He might occasionally duck or dash backwards. What we want to do is just sit there and you tap R1 in a very rhythmic pattern of just pump punt, punt punt, punt punt, punt punt, punt punt, and you have to specifically wait for Liquid's HP to hit a certain point, stop your combo, and then reinitiate it to enter phase 2. Now, phase 2 is reminiscent of the MGS2 fight that never happened. You can see the camera has changed, and because the camera's changed, this is actually really important. Because the camera has changed, 2 things have happened. One, the infinite combo is much harder to do, but also Liquid has gained some new moves, and as such, he can basically break out of the 2-punch combo whenever he wants. So what we're gonna try to do instead is a technique developed by Jaguar King, which is called the 1-punch combo. As far as I know, it was developed by him. If not, I apologize. But the 1-punch combo is actually really, really hard to do. As you can see, Schmuck keeps accidentally doing a 5-hit combo. The full combo is based on how fast you're clicking R1. So if he hits it too quick, he will do a 5 combo. If he hits it too low or too slow, he'll do a 1 and drop it. Although that was pretty good, we only saw 1 or 2 haymakers and they never hit us. All right, so we're moving into phase 3. This is reminiscent of MGS3. You'll notice this starts to throw in a lot of CQC. Now, what Liquid is going to do here is, on top of the fact that the camera has now changed to make this even harder, the 1 or 2 punch combo is both viable. However, Liquid can just decide, I'm going to block, and if Liquid's not blocking and you see his hands open instead, he's going to decide, I'm going to CQC you now. So it looks like we got him in a nice 1-punch combo. Unfortunate little drop there. The drop is most prevalent in phase 3. Overall, though, that just little bit, that was a very solid Liquid. I am impressed. Congratulations on that, Liquid. The first one was a little rough, but you got through it. You had a great phase 2 and phase 3, and those are the scary ones.
I'll tell you what, that went better than my warm-up run. So, happy with it.
Happy with it. There's one piece of tech to phase 4, and it is punch as soon as possible to not miss Liquid, which is exactly what Schmuckle did. There's a visual cue to make sure your foot is in the right spot. You have to hold the analog stick in the right direction as well. Probably learned that one the hard way as well. And yeah, with that, it's a series of cutscenes. We're just gonna punch this bad boy. And where do you normally call time? Do you do Liquid punch, or do you do this is good, isn't it?
Normally, I do it when I press start when it tells me to, but we can call it Liquid punch.
Okay, you have 12 minutes on estimate if you wanted to go to this is good.
You know what? We'll go to the this is good then.
I really like this is good. I think that's a good scene. And that is Liquid punch. Oh. There are still a few more inputs, but in terms of actual gameplay, that's it. All that's left now is skipping a couple cutscenes. So congratulations, Schmuck, on that. How are you feeling? That was a great run.
You know, even with all the slippery slides along the way, I'm really happy with this run, and I'm really happy to be here. I mean, this is all still kind of new to me. I only started a month ago, so it's exciting, you know?
Yeah, you've come quite a long way. Watching you grow, seeing you submit your runs, you dominated the IL board. You even took an IL from me, I believe.
Still working on that Act 2.
Hey, you know what?
Your Act 2 was so good, by the way.
I gave a stepping stone, and it's up to someone else to come in and improve it. So I'm happy to see that you have taken that mantle, because I know Sparty couldn't be bothered with the ILs. And Sparty is really good at the game, so it's nice to see someone else decide, if he's not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I mean,
I gotta give a shout out to you, because I've been studying a lot of your ILs. Sparty, his guide for Ellie got me started. It was great. Joseph Joestar 316. Watching him play in general just made me want to run. D-Limes for hosting this event.
D-Limes for one day running MGS4, right? Right? That's in the plan. One day. I believe he's quoted as eventually TM. I don't know. He said he might do it. I think he said he'll do it before he does Peace Walker, but I have low expectations of seeing the MGS4 run. So this is first credits. To anyone who's who's played this game, you'll know this game is super fun because it's a bunch of cutscenes, and then first credits. And first credits is, I believe, 1 minute and 40. So it's not super long. It's just here's all the voice actors and stuff, and then it's more cutscenes. So we're gonna end time on actual final input, since we're in a really good spot in terms of estimate here. We're not gonna sit you guys through 14 minutes of credits. We liked being here, but our estimate didn't count for 14 minutes of credits, and we have a marathon to put on. But do you know this is not PB pace, right? You don't think you're gonna PB off this?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Worst case scenario.
Act 2 went a little too slippery to be PB. Even with Vamp, maybe, but no.
Worst case scenario, you're probably local recording this, right?
No.
Guys, always local record. Also, big reveal. Guess who's in this game? Big boss. You never
What?
saw that coming, did you?
I was
Alright.
only wearing his face the entire time.
So
Well,
I gotta ask,
maybe.
what do you think? Well, technically, what do you think of the last line on this? Because I personally really love it. I think it's a very good capstone line. What do
It-
you think,
It honestly, like, no joke, it makes me emotional every time.
dude? I
The endings
fully
to
agree.
all the Metal Gear games, like, ramp up the emotional levels.
All right.
This MGS3, but we're about to come up on time. As soon as Big Boss drops the cigar.
This is good. Isn't it?
This is good, isn't it?
And now we all want to cry.
And and sad time.
Time.
GG again. Thank you so
GG.
much for the run. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it was an honor.
Any final things you want to say? Shout out or something while we're here?
Shout out to all the runners running this marathon. I have the utmost respect for all of you. Thank you for having me. I'm honored, and let's have a good time.
Have a good time. Good luck to everyone running coming up after this, and thanks again for having me. And you know, if you want to learn the game, come hit me up. Just ask questions. Schmuck here can teach you. Joe, lots of people. Maybe D-Limes one day. Just gonna keep trying to slide that in.
One day.
But yeah, thanks again, and good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Boy, thank you so much. That run was fantastic. Great showing from sirShmuckle. Everybody, give claps in the chat. Support the runners for today's event. This is the last day for Limeade 3.0. Guys, if you guys want to, please, where can they find you? Any social media, if you guys want to plug in your social media.
You can find me on Twitter at sirShmuckle, Twitch sirShmuckle, all the same.
Yep, similar. SRGT silent, literally everywhere you want to find me. Twitter, YouTube, Discord. That's where I am. That's who I am.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. So coming up next, we have Metal Gear Ghost Babel VR missions ran by me. So stay tuned.